Hello. Welcome back to Peace in the Mix with me, Portia Payton. I hope you had a fabulous week, honey. You see, I got my ice drink. I think these are called ice drinks. Yes, sparkling ice. I have the orange mango, zero sugar. This is really delicious. I did just want to say real quick before I start the video, the setting is a little different. The sun is going down. The lighting may change, so just bear with me. I do apologize in advance, but I still wanted to get this video out and I still wanted to hang out with y'all. So today we're gonna be talking about building self-trust and really developing the ability to have discernment and trust our intuition. If that is something you're interested in, go ahead and please give this video a thumbs up. Also, excuse my hair, might be looking a little crazy today. It's been a day, okay. So let's dive into today's topic. So this has been heavy on my heart this week. I have been reflecting on my own life, and let me know if you can relate to this. Did you ever find yourself needing constant validation from other people before you made a decision, and even after you made the decision, to see if you made the right decision? Like, just to make sure, because you just want to know, okay, am I on the right track? Did you ever develop like anxiousness from fear and confusion, just wondering if you did the right thing or not? And just overall, molding your opinions based on how other people feel instead of how you feel. Did you ever have trouble speaking up and just not listening to your intuition when it guided you, and then afterwards something happens and you were like, dang, I knew I shouldn't have done that, or dang, I knew I should have did that. Something told me to do this, something told me to do that. Everything that I just asked if you could relate to, those are signs that you do not trust yourself, that you are struggling to trust your own decision-making abilities, that you don't think you are capable of making the right choices, that you're afraid to rely on yourself to make those choices for you. Let's talk about why this happens. At some point in life, and typically this is around the developmental stages, we are taught to listen to authority figures instead of ourselves, because these authority figures have been here longer than us and they know better than us. That is just what happens, okay? So if you're a 5-year-old and you think you know what's best for yourself, no, you are gonna be listening to that authority figure. But over time, even as you develop into an adult, you're so used to listening to everybody else and getting everybody else's opinions and input and following everyone else's directions that it's a little bit harder to start trusting yourself later on in life, because you've spent so many years getting confirmation from other people. We grow accustomed to this because of survival and because of our need for connection. So we place trust in other people instead of ourselves. And it's completely fine to trust other people. In fact, trust is the foundation of any successful relationship. But it's essential that we learn how to build the trust within ourselves. So now that we recognize the signs of not trusting yourself, and now that we recognize how this started to happen, let's talk about how to start trusting yourself, okay? The first thing I want you to start doing immediately, like after you finish watching this video, is to start making your own decisions without consulting with other people, especially when it pertains to you trying to create a better life for yourself. I want you to start small. Decide and then follow through. Allow yourself to make mistakes and gracefully learn each lesson so that you can continue to evolve and develop into who you envision yourself to be. You might have to be embarrassed, feel alone, feel unsure and confused, but continue to make your own decisions anyway, because I want you to get used to the idea of, oh, I made this choice. Even if the choice ended up not working out the way you wanted to, I still want you to get used to saying, well, I made this choice. The more that you do that, the more you start building inner strength. Sometimes certain choices do have consequences, and I want you to be okay with that, as long as the consequences are a result of your own decision making. Because the last thing you want to do is make a decision based on somebody else's opinion and then suffer those consequences, and it wasn't even a choice you made. I mean, you did make the choice to listen to somebody else, but it was still their thinking that you listened to instead of your own inner voice. I want you to practice listening to that inner voice instead. Even if you're unsure, still make a decision and make it right. And then if it isn't right, make another decision and make that right. Keep going. The more that you are making your own choices, the more you can start trusting yourself, because you're not gonna only make bad choices. You're also going to make choices that are beneficial to you, but you need to get in the habit of just making a choice. And when I say making a choice, don't not think about it. I want you to start trusting your intuition. Your intuition is that knowingness that you cannot deny. It's that voice that is always there. Even if it's become more subtle over the years, it's still there. Now we just want it to get a little louder. Like, you want to get better at hearing that voice. I have always had a really strong intuition, especially as a child, and I have that strong intuition now as well. I know that there was a period of time where I was not completely trusting that intuition, and eventually I'd be like, this voice is so loud that I can't keep ignoring it. You're not gonna believe this, or maybe you will. I finished recording the rest of the video and I was out of focus. I was out of focus, and it was such good information. That's all right. We did it once, we could do it again. As I was saying, my intuition would get so loud, and I am talking about loud. Okay, I am talking about so loud to the point where I'd be like, I cannot ignore this. I already know it's a wrap. And every area of my life, right? I knew when it was time to leave jobs, pivot. I knew when it was time to end relationships. Like, I just knew. I knew when things ran their course. Every subject, everything. And even if things didn't run their course, I knew when I needed a break from something. I knew when I needed to take a step back and just reevaluate some things. I knew when my time was up, okay? It would just be extremely loud. Like, I could not ignore it. Now, I am not saying this is easy, because it's not. Even when I trusted my gut feelings, I still experienced guilt, confusion, disappointment. I still questioned if I did the right thing or not. I still went through the motions, but once I had gone through the motions and allowed myself to experience all of those feelings, I realized that I had made the right choice. I realized that my intuition had not failed me. My gut feeling was right. Your gut feeling will know information way before you even realize how it knew. It just knows. Your gut feeling will know when it's time to leave somewhere. And it could be something simple. You could be out with your friends and you could just get a feeling like, we gotta go. Something ain't right in here. We need to leave right now. It picks up on the energy. It picks up on the environment. It knows what's going on. And that's just how intuition works. It knows things and you don't know how it knows. You don't know when it found that information out. It just knows. And trusting your intuition will be the best thing you ever do. And I just want to be clear, you can trust other people. As I mentioned before, trust is the foundation for any healthy relationship, right? But you got to know when to trust people. You have to trust yourself enough to know who you can trust, who feels right for you, who feels safe. Your intuition will let you know that. Just like it'll let you know when it's time to go, when it's time to end certain things. It will also let you know who is safe to be around, who you can trust with your feelings, who you can trust with certain information. It's okay to listen to people who are experiencing things that you eventually want to experience. If they give you tips on how to do something or how to just make your journey a little bit faster, like cut the time of struggle. Like if they are able to help you cut the struggling time in half, yes, listen. But that also just piggybacks on what I was saying by your intuition will let you know who you can trust and who you can listen to. You don't want to listen to somebody who doesn't necessarily know what they're talking about and when it pertains to what you're trying to do. Like, I wouldn't advise listening to the advice of somebody who isn't necessarily where you envision yourself being. I wouldn't advise listening to a negative person who's pessimistic, who just doesn't believe in the possibility of things. I wouldn't suggest listening to those people. I would suggest listening to people who feel right and who are living what you eventually hope to live for yourself. Listen to those people when they offer advice and suggestions. And then even after you listen to it, you can decide if that information will work for you and your life. You don't have to just take everything somebody says. You can pick and choose what you believe will work for you. That's what I mean by trusting yourself. Trust yourself to know what to listen to. Trust yourself to know who to be guided by. Trust yourself to know who to allow to mentor you. Trust yourself with who you believe is the right person to share your mind with. Trust yourself on that. Your intuition will let you know that. Now, sometimes because we've gone so long without listening to our own intuition, it may be hard to hear it. You may not really know when it's telling you to do something. You may only be able to hear your intuition when it's heightened situations, but I want you to get to the point where you hear your intuition no matter what type of situation it is. You really do have all of the answers inside you. Realistically, me or anybody else cannot technically tell you what's best for your life when it comes to specifics. Like, I cannot tell you, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z by tomorrow, by the next day, you'll have X, Y, and Z. I don't know that for you. I am not in your body. I do not perceive things through your mind. In fact, no two people even perceive life the same. So there's no way for somebody to be able to tell somebody else, this is exactly what you should be doing. There's no way for them to know that. That's why I want you to start building that muscle of trusting yourself. I think it's the best thing you're ever gonna learn how to do. And I also just wanna mention that the more you start to listen to your intuition, the more proud you will feel. Like, I don't know about you, but I am actually enjoying when I make a decision and it turned out to be the right decision. I'm like, okay. Okay. In order to really begin to hear your intuition so that it's loud and clear and you don't even question it, is you have to get still. Your inner voice can be heard in stillness. It cannot be heard through all this chaos, through everybody else's opinions inside of your mind. You're gonna have to learn how to get quiet so that you can hear your own voice. And how do we do that? I recommend journaling, meditation, and therapy. So journaling, if you can journal 10 to 15 minutes a day, and I'm talking about free write, you're not paying attention to grammatical errors, you're not paying attention to whether something's politically correct or whether something makes sense or even if it's legible, none of that matters. You are just allowing your mind to roam free, let the thoughts get onto the paper. I wouldn't even recommend reading it back, okay? I would just recommend spending that time just allowing yourself to think whatever, get it all out. And the more you do that, the more you'll start to really understand what it is you think, what it is you feel, and what it is you believe. And as far as meditation, I do at least recommend minimum 5 to 10 minutes a day. 15, 20 minutes is even better. But meditation is where you're gonna get the real stillness from, because over time it gets easier and easier. I really do notice a difference when I meditate consistently versus when I kind of fall off, because I'm human. I'll spend months meditating consistently every day, and then something happens and I get busy and then I just don't make the time for it, and then I notice the difference within my clarity. I have way more clarity when I meditate consistently. I have an overall sense of calmness. My ability to be solution oriented is heightened because my intuition is very loud and clear. I just know things without even realizing how I know them, and I'm easily guided when I meditate frequently. I also am less anxious overall, and I also experience synchronicities. I'm just in the right place at the right time. It really is a really wonderful thing to be in tune and in alignment like that, but meditation is how you get to that point. When I don't meditate consistently, I am a little bit more anxious. I do get a little bit more worried. It takes me a little bit longer to be solution oriented, so I definitely recommend meditation for sure. Don't worry about all the thoughts that come up the first couple days. That's gonna happen. It might even take a few weeks before you get into the zone. And what I mean by the zone, it's that sweet spot where you're not really thinking about anything and you feel super relaxed, and you may not even feel your body anymore. You may feel kind of like numb. That's what I mean by when you're in the zone. And sometimes it might take you the whole 15 minutes before you're in the zone, and you might only be in the zone for 60 seconds. It's okay, like just keep going. Lastly, as I said, therapy, I spoke about this before, but therapy is a wonderful outlet for people who are just trying to get re-familiar with their own inner voice, because the right therapist will validate your experiences and will help you work through your thoughts and how to process certain things that you've gone through in life. And they will even recommend resources that will assist with you gaining more clarity, with you developing healthier coping mechanisms, and overall, I believe all of these things will help you develop a healthier relationship with yourself, because if you do not have a healthy relationship with yourself, it's going to be difficult to completely trust yourself. I hope this video was helpful. I really enjoyed myself today, and I hope you could take away at least one thing from today's video. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up. I really would love to hear your input. So if you have any suggestions about building self-trust, please leave a comment and let me know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful week.